This week on Vaticano, we look ahead to Pope Leo XIV's first full year and the events shaping the Church in 2026. Then join us for a 90-day desert journey towards Easter with EWTN's The Desert Fathers in a Year. Finally, we travel to Pompeii, where donated wedding dresses are restored and given to brides who can't afford one. For this and more, Vaticano starts now. On January the 17th, the Church celebrates St. Anthony Abbot, one of the great Desert Fathers, whose radical search for God in the wilderness helped shape the Christian monastic tradition.
I'd read about the Desert Fathers, and I'd read a short collection of sayings before I joined the monastery. But it was when I was in the novitiate that I realized just how important this body of literature is. These sayings, almost always dialogues, a young monk coming to an older monk, having a problem, having a query, a quandary, and asking, Father, how can I live with this? What can I do about this? And I found the answers to be so penetrating and so true and so timeless, and often disconcertingly addressing precisely what was going on in my own heart, that I found them tremendously helpful. I still find them helpful, and I think they'll be helpful to others.
That's the Hearts of the Desert Fathers in a Year, a weekly series launched with Exodus 90, produced in collaboration with EWTN, and guided by Bishop Erik Varden of Trondheim, inviting viewers to pray their way through the Desert Fathers' timeless teaching.
Bishop Erik Varden, he's a Cistercian monk, and everything that he prepared in his content was done through this lens. So the place where we started first with our series was a Cistercian abbey in the Czech Republic. We didn't select that place as the primary target, but basically Bishop Erik Varden was speaking at various monasteries and conferences throughout the year, and we would just try to meet up with him wherever he was at.
From there, the team continued filming in Rome and beyond, capturing monastic life and sacred places that match the spiritual landscape of the texts. And as the year closed, the series culminated in what the team called an epic pilgrimage through Italy, reflecting on St. Benedict, who carried the desert tradition into a rule of life that helped shape Christian civilization.
To begin with, it just seemed like a bit of a dream to go to the foundational sites and record, but then it ended up being possible, and I'm so happy that we could go to Subiaco and Monte Cassino and see there concrete examples of what a desert might look like, because a desert isn't necessarily made up of sand. You made the point right at the beginning of the series that, you know, the modern city is in many ways a desert.
For me, I had honestly never been either to Subiaco or Monte Cassino before, despite a couple of trips to Italy over the years. And I got to, experience firsthand, on a first impression, the different geographies of these places, which made the significance of them for Benedict obvious to the senses, even. And it was a great...
And I think it's so important, and I'm delighted that we could go, as we did, straight from Subiaco to Monte Cassino, because the topography says so much about the spiritual journey. The experience itself is, it's basically a human one and unchanging.
It's the series that I think had the most impact on me in my work as a content creator, because as a filmmaker, we don't usually actively get to see our audience up first, face to face. Many times they're just a viewer, like a number on a screen. So when people are commenting, not just with various random comments, but really when they're commenting from the heart, it really is motivating in my work, and shows me that What we're doing is meaningful, it's impactful, it's reaching people, it's touching them, and it's helping them get through difficult times, because that's the other thing that stands out to me with these texts is that Bishop Varden has said time and time again, these desert fathers, they're relatable, and they're just like us.
Exodus 90 begins 90 days before Easter, a season of preparation through prayer and the example of the Desert Fathers. In 2026, that start date was January the 5th, leading to Easter Sunday, April the 5th. In a few moments, we'll take a closer look at what the year 2026 has in store. The Holy Door has closed, but the door of the first full year of Pope Leo XIV's pontificate is just beginning to open. What will it look like? What are the main goals and challenges facing the Pope in the year ahead? He wasted no time. A day after the Jubilee of Hope ended, he convened an extraordinary consistory in Rome, gathering cardinals from around the world. A bold move not seen since 2014.
One of the things that he listened to them say was they wanted to come to Rome more often. They felt that under Pope Francis they had not been brought to Rome on a regular basis, so they didn't know each other. Pope Leo then was fulfilling a promise, the request from the College of Cardinals during the ramp up to the conclave and then afterward.
The two-day meeting in the Vatican was the first phase of the consistory, which will conclude at the end of June, around the feast of Saints Peter and Paul, with another 2 days of debate. Pope Leo then intends to repeat this gathering every year as a 3 to 4 day encounter.
So he's establishing then, or restoring in some ways, one of the key traditions and functions of the College of Cardinals, which is to serve as the key advisors to the Pope.
The consistory tells us a great deal about Leo's vision for his pontificate and for the Church. He wants consultation. He wants the princes of the Church, the most important church leaders, to come to Rome regularly so that he can listen to them and speak with them before making decisions. And to keep the focus on synodality and evangelization, with liturgy and curia reform left for later.
We are a very diverse group, enriched by a wide range of backgrounds, cultures, and ecclesial and social traditions. We bring with us different educational and academic paths, pastoral experiences, and, of course, distinct personalities and personal traits. Above all, we are called to get to know one another and to engage in dialogue so that we may work together in the service of the Church.
Fresh off the consistory, Leo XIV moved straight into diplomacy. On January the 9th, Pope Leo addressed the Vatican Diplomatic Corps, representing nearly 200 nations. He spoke about global tensions, wars, and the pursuit of peace, marking a significant moment for Vatican diplomacy at a time when the world is being shaken by so many bloody conflicts.
The Pope spoke about the rule of law as the foundation of working together on this planet. He spoke about the city of God and the earthly city in line with the teaching of Augustine, and he said, well, let's not be too comfortable. I take this now in my own word and think, well, we can strive to our own good here on this planet.
Leo's first address to the diplomatic corps sketched how he wants to meet the world: a defense of the rule of law and international humanitarian law, with human dignity, not strategic interest, as the non-negotiable starting point, framed through St. Augustine's warning about false peace built on domination. That makes peace building a central theme of the year ahead. He singled out the war in Ukraine, calling for an immediate ceasefire and dialogue motivated by a sincere search for a path to peace.
I renew my appeal to respect the will of the Venezuelan people and to safeguard the human and civil rights of all, ensuring a future of stability and concord. To this end, inspiration may be drawn from the example of two of its children who I had the joy of canonizing last October, Jose Gregorio Hernandez and Sister Carmen Rendiles. May their witness inspire the building of a society founded on justice, truth, freedom, and fraternity.
Another important aspect of this year's program will undoubtedly be apostolic journeys around the world. After Pope Leo's first apostolic trip to Turkey and Lebanon in November and December of 2025, he's also scheduled to visit Spain in the coming months.
Pope Leo wants to go to the Canary Islands, which is one of those entry points for migrants that many die trying to get there. Then he'll have stops where in Spain, he'll go to Barcelona, which means a stop at Sagrada Familia, which means he'll be in some ways following in the footsteps of Pope Benedict XVI, who was there in 2011.
The Pope plans to visit several African countries too, with an essential stop in Algeria, in the footsteps of St. Augustine, as well as South America, possibly including Uruguay, Argentina, and Peru, his second homeland, where he served as a missionary for many years. With the solemn rite celebrated on January the 10th in the Basilica of Santa Maria degli Angeli in Assisi, the commemorative year marking the 800th anniversary of the death of St. Francis of Assisi has begun. For this occasion, Pope Leo XIV has proclaimed a special Franciscan Jubilee year, which will conclude on January the 10th, 2027. It will be a year of grace in the footsteps of the poor man of Assisi, granting a plenary indulgence throughout the entire year 2026. This is a place where humanity touched the deepest abyss of evil. More than 1 million innocent lives were extinguished in silence. This is Auschwitz, and yet, even in the blackest darkness, the light did not go out. Countless martyrs bore witness to a love stronger than hatred. One of them was Saint Maximilian Kolbe, a Polish Franciscan priest. When a fellow prisoner, Franciszek Gajowniczek, cried out for his wife and children, Kolbe stepped forward and offered his life in his place. And the meaning of that choice is found in the starvation bunker, cell 18 of Block 11, known as the Death Block.
Nella cella, di Auschwitz.
The answer lies in the Auschwitz cell, where he gave his life for someone. That is, a stranger. Someone he didn't even know. It's all there in my opinion, like the sacrifice of Christ on the cross, based on this mercy, this forgiveness, this love, which is the foundation of all his actions.
La base di tutti I suoi atteggiamenti.
Kolbe was left to starve. After nearly 2 weeks, he was still alive. When the SS ordered the bunker cleared, they killed the remaining survivors with an injection of phenol on August the 14th, 1941.
Saint Maximilian is personally very important to me. We share the same nationality. We wear the same habit. But personally, he is a man who offered the gift of his life, and he is a model for me to follow. I will probably never be in a situation like his, where giving the gift of life becomes something absolute and total. But I am learning from him to offer the small amounts of my own life to those who need them.
Even in the death camp in Auschwitz, he continued to comfort fellow prisoners, celebrate Mass, and pray until the very end of his life.
Ora pensiamo è difficile di affrontare.
Now we might think it is difficult to face that death. Yet in the moment of trial, as in the moment of the Eucharistic sacrifice, we become a person in whom Christ acts. In fact, he always said, "Do not worry, let the Spirit speak through you."
Spirito parla per mezzo di voi.
Maximilian Kolbe, born in 1894, entered the Franciscan seminary in Poland at the age of 12. In 1911, he came to Rome to continue his studies at the Pontifical Gregorian University and in the convent of the Friars Minor Conventual. Walking through the Eternal City, we find countless traces of his life, formation, and vocation.
In San Teodoro, we had our monastery, where he studied from 1912 to 1919. He spent 7 years in Rome. That was kind of a hidden time, when his spirituality was truly taking shape. I like returning there, looking through the window that he looked through. And through that very window, he actually saw his calling, to bring people back to God, to pray for those who are far from God and from the church.
Maximilian Kolbe actively participated in the life of the Franciscan community, as well as in prayer and study circles in Rome. He frequently visited the General Curia of the Franciscans, where his beautiful sculpture can still be admired today. It was here in the Eternal City that he was ordained a priest in 1918.
I love walking around Rome, discovering places that in some way bear the mark of Saint Maximilian. These are the places known to everyone. I think of the place where he was ordained, at Sant'Andrea della Valle. It's a beautiful church. Then, near Piazza Navona, there is the Church of Sant'Andrea della Frate, where he celebrated his first Mass.
During his years in Rome, Kolbe developed a strong devotion to the Immaculate Virgin Mary, planting the seeds for what would later become the missionary work of Neopakalanov. Founded by him and one of the largest monasteries in the world, he used the press and radio to spread the gospel, promote peace, and foster devotion to the Virgin Mary.
Tocca esprimere ai fedeli e ai non fedeli.
We must share with both the faithful and the non-faithful the treasure of our faith. And he began to work, using all the technology of his time to share it. Better to say, to make it bear fruit for the world. And today, with the technology that we have, we can use it for evil, destroying nations, waging wars and so on. Or we can do as Kolbe did, using it for our good.
Oppure fare come ha fatto Kolbe, usarla per il bene nostro.
Maximilian Kolbe was canonized in 1982 by Pope St. John Paul II and is remembered as a martyr of charity, a powerful symbol of self-giving love and a witness of faith, even in the darkest of times. After the break, join us in Pompeii, where couples' wedding dress dreams come to life. At the Pontifical Shrine of the Blessed Virgin of the Rosary of Pompeii lies a special room that few people know of. Through the basilica and up the stairs, Sister Rosalia and the organization Friends of Mary happily work away for brides-to-be, mending, adjusting, and fixing donated wedding dresses for the women who can't afford them or want to support a more virtuous path down the aisle.
I vestiti vengono donati alla sala delle offerte perché il luogo dove...
Here the dresses are donated to the donation room because it's the place where everyone can come. And at the same time, it's always open because there are different people who run the donation room.
Gestire la sala delle offerte.
Hundreds of dresses arrive here, and all one has to do is give a contribution. Or if a bride-to-be can't afford it, it will be totally free of charge. From modern, classic, bohemian, a room full of white dresses, where brides can come and envision themselves as brides.
Poi vengono portati qui. E qui che cosa facciamo? Li selezioniamo, ci mettiamo un pochino di ordine.
Then they come here. And what do we do here? We select them, we clean them up, and we put them in order. If something doesn't work, we take it away.
Non spendere tanto, è vero, ma anche perché.
Then there are people who can't afford to spend much. Also because instead of spending their money on a single day, they choose to spend it on some other charitable work. Sometimes they think about making a donation to the parish or something else. And then there are those who can't afford it at all.
Qualche altra cosa oppure, e poi sta qui un po' proprio, prende il vestito.
There are those who give a little contribution, but they are then able to dress up nicely with wonderful clothes, which we will then show you.
Con I vestiti meravigliosi, che dopo penso li fate vedere.
But what Sister Rosalia says is the most fulfilling part of all is seeing the women try on the dress that will accompany them on their big day. EWTN Vatican correspondent Valentina Di Donato was invited inside the atelier to meet with Felicia, a bride-to-be.
Felicia, thank you so much for sharing this incredible moment. You're beautiful. How do you feel?
I feel emotional, indescribable emotion. In this place with these people that are so warm and kind, it's hard to find such people nowadays. I must be honest, but I immediately feel this dress to be mine. My heart brought me to this initiative. Today, we shouldn't spend a lot on these things. The important thing is to do things with our heart. And I was called to find my dress here and to give back. And in our world, there is such a need for this.
And for Felicia, the wedding dress is much more than just a beautiful dress. It represents the start of a new phase in the life of a Catholic in the formation of the marital bond.
The wedding dress is what I wear when meeting God, what I wear when meeting my husband, what I wear before starting a family.
And in the halls of the shrine, the Friends of Mary, which was founded by Sister Rosalia, 20 volunteers meet once a week and mend the dresses and create objects that they sell.
Mamma mia.
It's a way to breathe new life into the dresses, but is also a lot of fun.
No, specialmente per me,
Especially for me. This year I went through a difficult period, but they helped me get back on my feet.
Sono stata male e non ci sono venuta per parecchio tempo.
I was ill and couldn't come here for a long time. Then, little by little, the words of Sister Rosalia and the others, "Giovanina, you have to get back on your feet," helped me start to feel better.
Coraggio, coraggio, e sono riemersa.